If your cat sleeps with you, they're trying to tell you these 7 things. Ever wonder what's really going on in that furry little head when it decides your bed is, like, the absolute best spot in the house? Well, we're about to decode the incredible psychology behind this super common and super cute feline behavior. Let's dig in and figure out what they're actually trying to say.
Okay, so before we dive into all those secret messages, you gotta understand that it all starts with 3 core fundamental instincts. At their heart, cats are hardwired for survival, right? So they seek you out for a few key reasons. For warmth, to mark you with their scent, yeah, you're part of their territory now. And, probably most importantly, because they're searching for a place of absolute total safety. Think of these as the building blocks for everything else we're about to talk about.
But here's the thing, it goes way beyond just those basic instincts. This whole sleeping with you behavior is just packed with emotional and social messages. So let's break down these 7 secret communications your cat is sending you probably every single night.
All right, message number 1 is actually pretty practical. Your cat is basically saying, I need a stable source of heat. See, a cat's normal body temperature is a bit higher than ours, somewhere between 38.3 and 39.2 degrees Celsius. And you're a nice, steady 37 degrees. That makes you the perfect, self-regulating biological radiator. No joke. By snuggling up, they can keep their ideal temperature while they're in a deep sleep, without having to burn their own energy to do it. Pretty smart, huh?
And this is where it gets really sweet. The second message is, I see you as part of my pack. See, when they're tiny kittens, cats learn this thing called social sleeping. They all pile up with their mom and their brothers and sisters for warmth and safety. So when they choose to sleep with you, they're actually going back to that core kittenhood behavior. They're pretty much telling you, hey, you're my family. You're my giant, slightly less furry fellow cat.
And that idea of family builds right into our next 2 messages, which are totally intertwined: territory and trust. So by rubbing up against you and sleeping on your bed, your cat is literally mixing their scent with yours. It's this thing called scent-mingling, and it's basically them proudly declaring that you belong to them. But what's even more profound is the trust that this shows. Deep sleep is when any animal is at its most vulnerable to predators. By choosing to be in that state right next to you, they're saying, plain and simple, I trust you with my life.
So message number 5 is, your heartbeat and your breathing totally relax me. It's not just about feeling safe, it's also about feeling soothed. The rhythmic sound of your heart beating and the gentle rise and fall of your chest as you breathe, well, that has a huge calming effect on a cat's nervous system. It actually mimics the same comfort and security they felt as a tiny kitten snuggled up against their mom.
Okay, message number 6 might actually surprise you. It's not always about them seeking protection from you. Sometimes they're saying, I want to protect you from nightly dangers. Think about it. With their way superior hearing and sense of smell, cats are sometimes on duty as the pack's guardian. So when they're sleeping lightly, maybe at the edge of the bed, they might actually be watching over you, ready to alert the whole family to any potential threats.
And that brings us to the 7th and final message, which is really the heart of it all. I am showing you the deepest form of love and connection. When you add up all these other messages, the warmth, the trust, the protection, it all culminates in the absolute ultimate expression of feline affection. Sharing a sleeping space is just the highest level of trust and bonding a cat can offer. And look, this isn't just a cute theory, it's actually backed up by science.
Yeah, seriously. A 2019 study from Oregon State University actually looked at this and found that almost 66% of cats form what's called a secure attachment to their owners. To put that in perspective, that's a bond that's just as strong as the one we see between human infants and their parents. It's a scientifically recognized, deep emotional connection.
The lead researcher on that study, Kristen Vitale, basically confirms it. This act of sleeping together isn't just some random habit. It's a behavior built on the absolute highest level of trust a cat can possibly demonstrate. So yeah, when your cat chooses you as their sleeping buddy, it is a really big deal.
All right, so now we know why they do it. But what about how they do it? Because the specific spot your cat chooses on the bed? Yeah, that's not random either. Each and every position has its own secret meaning, so let's decode them, shall we?
Okay, let's break down these positions. If your cat sleeps on your head, they've figured out the spot that loses the most body heat but moves the least. Smart. If they're camped out on your chest, they're literally tuning into your heartbeat for maximum comfort. When they're curled up in your lap, that creates this perfect protective little cocoon. And what about down at your feet?
Well, that's the perfect strategic lookout post. It gives them a full view of the room and a quick escape route if they need it.
But this whole thing isn't a one-way street. Having a cat in your bed doesn't just affect them, it has a very real physiological impact on you too. So let's flip the script a bit and look at how this whole shared experience affects your health.
So, have you ever heard that a cat's purr has actual healing properties? Well, it's not just some old wives' tale. A cat's purr vibrates at a frequency between 20 and 140 hertz. And get this, scientific studies have shown that sound waves in this exact range can help lower blood pressure, reduce stress, and even promote the healing of tissues and bones. How amazing is that?
So let's lay it all out, the good and the not so good. On one hand, you've got these incredible benefits like stress relief and those amazing healing purrs. But on the other hand, there are some potential risks to think about. Things like parasites, allergies being triggered by dander, and let's be honest, since cats are most active at dawn and dusk, they can definitely interrupt your sleep.
And all of this brings us to the big question: should you or shouldn't you let your cat sleep with you? Ultimately, it's a personal choice, but here's some expert advice that might help you find the right balance for you and your furry roommate.
So, what do the experts say? Well, according to most veterinarians, the ideal compromise is to set up a separate, super cozy cat bed right there in your bedroom. This way, you pretty much eliminate the health risks of sharing the same bed, but your cat still feels totally safe and secure because they can smell you and hear you breathing nearby. It's a win-win. You both get the comfort without the compromise. And hey, if you do want to make that transition, it's totally possible. Here are 3 humane and really effective steps to try. First, make their new bed smell familiar and safe by tossing an old t-shirt of yours in it. Second, replace your body heat. You can use a special pet-safe heating pad. And third, tire them out. A really good, intense play session right before bedtime will get them ready to crash in their own comfy spot.
And last but not least, a really important health note for you. You need to pay attention to sudden changes. If your cat has been your loyal sleeping buddy for years and then just abruptly stops, that could be a major warning sign. Cats are absolute masters at hiding pain and illness, and their first instinct is often to go off by themselves. Now, it could just be stress, but it's definitely something you want to monitor closely and maybe even call your vet about.
So the next time your cat curls up next to you, you'll have a much deeper understanding of the layers of trust, instinct, and love behind that simple little act. The communication is always happening, even when you're both fast asleep. The only question left is, what is your cat trying to tell you tonight?